everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Andrea, and today I have my June and July update for Color Me Reading along with my August TBR. So I missed my June video, so I combined the 2 months, June and July, into my July update. So June was the color black. Nathaniel is very happy. And July was the color red. So I did manage to read one book for the month of June, and it was this book of poems called Black Girl Call Home by Jasmine Mans, and I really liked it. It's obviously the poems center around blackness, but not just being black, but being a black woman, being a black queer woman. So it was really easy to read. This is one of the books that I brought on vacation, and I did not start reading any books on vacation until we were driving home. But I did finish this in like a couple hours on the car ride home, so I technically read it while we were still on vacation, I guess, kind of. But it was good. I would recommend it. It's much more it's more modern, kind of, I guess, freestyle poetry. I'm not super well versed in poetry, so I can't give you, I mean, it's not like Shakespearean type of poetry where there's rhyme schemes and all this other stuff. It's more of a free-flowing kind of thing, which is probably why I like it. I'm not huge into the poetry that's got the extremely strict rules for how everything is laid out. So I did really enjoy this one. And then the other book I read was for the month of July, and it was the I had such a hard time saying this title last month, and I'm gonna have a hard time saying it again. I have to say it really slowly. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn, Hardcastle by Stuart Turken. This book, I really enjoyed it. It is a cross between Clue and Groundhog Day and The Good Place. It gets a very weird mixture of things, but it basically starts out where this man wakes up in the woods and he kind of witnesses a murder, but not really. It's hard to explain because I don't want to give away too much. So basically what happens is he's trying to solve a murder, and every day he wakes up in the body of a different house guest and replays the same day, but in someone new, and he has to try to figure out how the murder is accomplished and who is behind it before he gets to the end of the 8th day, because there are 8 characters that he is going to be inhabiting. I don't know that I can really describe it much more than that without giving too much away, but I did really enjoy it. So he starts the day off in one house guest's body, and then the next day he wakes up in another guest's body, but he's still interacting with the guest who he has been previously. So he's basically interacting with himself. It's really weird, but it works. And I like I said, I did really enjoy it. I can't say too much more about it because then I'm just gonna give it away, and I don't want to do that because it's one of those things where I will admit I did not solve it myself because I guess my brain doesn't work that way and I'm not smart. But it was still good. I really liked it. And then there's 2 other books for the month of July that I have started, but I haven't finished them. But I started reading The Revenant. I'm only 2 chapters in because I just started reading this the other night. And then I started reading The Accursed by Joyce Carol Oates. And I mean, I'm going to keep reading these, obviously, just because it's not the red month anymore. Doesn't mean I'm just gonna quit, but I'm about, I don't know how I feel about this one yet. I'm almost 100 pages in, and I can't tell if the narrator, I mean, it's gotta be a conscious style choice, because this is Joyce Carol Oates. I don't think she does anything without a reason, but from what I've read so far, so like the main action of this the main action of the story takes place in 1905, but like a historian who's kind of, his family was like intertwined in the events of the book, he is giving like the full account of what happened. I'm assuming, see, this is the thing, I don't know if she meant to have his narrative voice be so freaking annoying. It's like his chronicling of this is like he's almost writing like he's a Bronte sister or something, or Jane Austen, like that. Like there's like overuse of semicolons and there's italics everywhere and like parentheticals, and it's kind of bizarre. I'm not gonna lie. It's not enough to like it's not enough to make me not want to finish reading it or anything, but it does make me dislike the narrator quite a lot. And I'm 100 pages in, and you can see, so this is where I'm at. I'm on like page 93. So this is a big boy, and not a whole lot has happened yet. So I really hope it gets moving pretty soon, because I'm not one to like give up on books unless I really, really hate them. Like I read The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner, and it took me over a year, but I read it. So that's like my threshold for what I can tolerate. And this is better than The Sound and the Fury. So I'm going to keep at it, but I really hope like some good stuff starts happening soon, because it's supposed to be like supernatural and paranormal, and that's my jam. And so far there has been one ghost sighting, but I don't know. If and when I ever finish these books, I will like do a more, I say more in depth, but like my reviews for these two books were not that in depth. So I will talk about them a little more if and when I finish them, but I am currently reading them. So that brings us to August, and the color for August is silver. So I only have 4 books here, but none of them, they're all like shorter than this Joyce Carol Oates book. So I think these are going to be much quicker reads. So first I have The Long Walk, which was written by Stephen King under his pseudonym Richard Bachman. It's a paperback. It's like a little over 300 pages. I'm sure I can get this done in like 1 or 2 nights. The next is a book I've had this book for a very, very long time, and I think I must have gotten it at a library book sale, but it is The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera. And I had it forever, and the writing is silver, so I'm like, if I don't read it now, I'm probably never gonna read it. So that's on the list for this month. Then I have this book, actually it looks like I already started it many, many years ago, but I'm gonna restart it. This is called The Replacement by Brenna Jovanov. This is a young adult like horror novel kind of thing, and it's about, I think more commonly they're known as changelings, but it's about the replacement. So it's one of those things where there's like a different, I don't want to say dimension, but like an underworld. And okay, how can I describe this? Okay, have you seen the movie Us? It's kind of like that, I think. but with teenagers, and maybe not as much killing. I'm not sure. But I mean, look at the cover. It's a creepy baby, like, what are they called? Prams in Britain or something? Like, they don't really have these in the US, but like a little carriage, but and then there's all these sharp metal objects, and it's very ominous looking. So I've just really been in a horror type of mood lately, so I will probably end up reading this. And then this last one is Once in a Great City, a Detroit Story by David Moranis, or Moranis. It's basically, I mean, it's a story about Detroit, and even when it was one of the great cities of America, how it was like sowing the seeds of its, I don't want to say ruin, because I mean, I'm from Michigan. I live fairly close to Detroit. As I've grown older, I've definitely got a soft spot for it. So not its demise or its ruin, but collapse maybe. So that's definitely, I like reading about the history of Detroit and my state and things like that. So I will be interested to read this, and hopefully I get around to it. I'm trying to make reading more of a priority lately, instead of, wasting so much time on my phone, which is something that I really love to do and I need to not do as much. So that was it for this update. Not the most in-depth reviews, but to be fair, I read these books over a month ago, so I don't remember that much about them. So hopefully for this next update, I will be able to talk about the books that I've read a little more in depth. But I mean, like, honestly, the book of poems, I'm stupid. No, I'm not. I've been out of college for a really long time, and like I said, poetry was never my thing. So while it was good and it showcased important themes, like, I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk about that for a myriad of reasons. And then this book, if you like Clue or Groundhog Day or The Good Place, you'll probably like this book, but I can't really say much more than that, because then I'll like just give everything away. And if you're familiar with any of those things, I've probably already given a bunch away. So that's it for this month. I'm still working on these 2 books for July, but I will start. I try not to have too many books on the go at one time, because then I forget where I am, or I forget what's happened in the story previous, because I've been reading other things. So I want to try to finish these 2 July books before I start any of the other ones, but I might, depending on how late in the month it gets, I might just start reading 1 or 2 of those anyway, just so I can have something read for August, actually in August. But see, I always do this. I always end up rambling, and you probably have all shut off the video by now. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read anything good so far this year. Please stay safe and sane and healthy, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.